Welcome back to The Ether, the show that disrupts the way you think about running your business. Join me, Brandon, and my co-host, Sean Delaney, the creator of What If, on today's episode. Our goal is to provide context around what we talk about so you have the clarity to cut through the noise and the confidence to grow and run a truly harmonious business. Let's jump in and take the next step to achieving business freedom. Sean Delaney, the creator of What If and the harmonious business architecture. What's up, my friend? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, favorite day of the week.
What If Wednesday?
Love doing these with you. What's going on?
We are talking about, I think I teased this last week at the end of the last episode. I think this might be your favorite topic ever. I don't know. We'll see. We're talking about the Pareto Principle in small business, aka the 80-20 rule. How do you feel about this episode?
I'm super excited. I don't know that it's my favorite topic.
Okay, well,
probably know.
See you next week.
Favorite topics. I'm not going to beat it. We could talk about Prince for an hour if you want. But hey, let's talk about the Pareto Principle. This could be let's use the Pareto Principle. This could be the shortest show we've ever done with the biggest impact.
Yeah, so typically we go for what, 25, 30 minutes on these episodes. I say we do this for a good 5 minutes and then let's get out of here. Is that good?
Using the Pareto Principle. I love this. So we'll cover what it is and why it's so powerful, but it is at the harmonious business architecture would not exist without the Pareto Principle.
See, that's why I said I think this might be your favorite. Not that you love the concept, but everything that you have built that we talk about is rooted in this principle. So it's pretty important.
Testify. It's true. So let's talk about what it is. Brandon,
let's talk about it.
Do you want to talk about what it is? What is the Pareto Principle?
Instead of spitting facts over here, which don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of spitting facts, but I'll give you an illustrative example of the Pareto Principle, the 80-20 rule, right? So we practice what we preach here.
I like this. I don't like what you said. Go ahead.
Maybe.
So go ahead.
Maybe you like it. Wait till the end. So we practice what we preach, and my family decided to test the 80-20 rule this very week as of the recording of this episode. So I am married, I have a wife, and I have 3 kids. That's 5 of us in total, right?
Yes.
So all 4 of them decided to get violently ill this week. And the 80-20 rule has held true. The 4 of them are sick and I am not. So that's not fully what the 80-20 rule is in the Pareto Principle, but it kind of holds true, right?
In fact, it's barely it at all. And so it's amazing. But that's not the thing I hate most about what you just said. of all the things that you've said that have created this revulsion in me. It's that you said illustrative instead of illustrative. I know it's conch, but I would have preferred if you said illustrative. But next time.
Okay, so the 80-20.
No, listen. So the 80-20 rule. Do you want to give a real?
Yeah, I'll give you the real. I thought that's just a funny way to illustrate it.
This is a serious show, Brandon. Let me handle the fun.
Well, then I'm on the wrong place. So yeah, that is a funny example, but at its core, the 80-20 rule basically states that 20% of your inputs into any process, task, labor, whatever you want to talk about it, yields 80% of your results. Meaning for I think the example that this was based off of was Pareto. Do you know his first name?
Vilfredo.
Okay, I'm not even going to attempt to say that. So that
the first most famous Vilfredo. The second
there was another one.
The second most Vilfredo was Vilfredo Panini. Do you know what he created?
Let me guess. The Panini.
No. He created the name. He named what happens when sand collects in your navel at the beach, and it's all in there. And he combined the words of navel gravel. It's gravel. That's true. I just made it up, but I got your attention. So Vilfredo Pareto, I think, is the only famous Vilfredo.
Now I'm just offended. So let me get back on track here. The original example, if you look up where the Pareto Principle came from, was used in, it wasn't large scale farming. It was like gardening. So for 20% of the seeds that were planted, I think they were pea plants. Don't quote me on this.
I'm not going to.
20% of the seeds yielded 80% of the peas that
Oh, so
ended
he was
up
an
growing.
economist, and he saw that 20%
Yep.
of the resources were held by, or 80% of the resources were held by 20% of the population. This is the first idea of this. We all hear it now with, oh, the 1%, they control everything. True, true. And so somewhere in 18 something, he died in 1923. So somewhere in there, as an economist, he saw that 20% of landowners owned 80% of the land in Italy. And then he was thinking about this and extrapolating it. And yes, did see in his garden that 20% of the pea pods were creating 80% of the peas. It wasn't until the 1940s then that someone else saw there's even more applications there and just started to find it everywhere. And as did we. And so in building of the harmonious business architecture, we know there are 10 fundamental disciplines that every business has to play with, regardless of the volumes that they might need in those disciplines. You have to touch all of them and master all of them for what you're trying to do in your business. I realized that all those disciplines were bloated and had poured all kinds of junk and garbage in there to make them seem more important so they themselves have more relevance in the world in a workplace that was scary and didn't often care about them. This was how they got significance in the workplace, to bloat these things. And I saw that the problems in business were because we were overcomplicating everything. And if you just took the 20% of what really mattered in each of those disciplines, you would get 80% of the lift. And if we could just do that, just get entrepreneurs who are struggling with something to just focus on the 20% where their issue is deriving from, right? Where the issue is generated in their business, not where they're feeling it, but where the issue is generated. If we just got them down to doing the 20% really, really good, they'd get 80% of what they wanted out of it, and the problems will all disappear. They'd be doing far, 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 far less and getting way, way more. And their business would just start to flow and then hum and then sing and be harmonious. And so using the Pareto principle of 80-20, and we'll talk about that in each of the disciplines we saw, for example, with navigation, you could look at every strategic planning tool out there in the world, and they all work and they all don't work because they're misapplied and misunderstood and they're complicated and nobody really knows how to use all of them in all situations, unless you are one of those discipline masters of all I think about all day, every day is strategic planning. I know, and I master all these things. Entrepreneurs can't do that. What do they really need? What are the three things? What is the 20% that runs through every strategic planning tool, methodology, system, framework? They all, if they work, need at some point to address core values, mission, and vision in the right way. So let's just go back and make sure that people have that. And surprisingly, if you just come back and kick the tires on that and get them focused on it, even if they're really, really good, they're doing a million things around strategic planning, bring them back there, focus on that. What happens? Their problems start to disappear. They get super aligned, and then we can take them and connect those pipes to the rest of the system. So, Brandon, is that good for a background and why it's important? And do you want to run through the 80-20 of each of the harmonious disciplines, or do you want to just cut and run? Because that's the 20%.
Yeah, well, I want to say this. We could talk for a little bit longer about this because we love it. But I will say 80% of the meat of this episode has already been said. So if you want to kick it loose, go enjoy the rest of your day, be my guest. Here's what I would invite you to do, though, is use the rest of that time to go take the bad assessment and figure out where the holes are in your business. We use this principle to ask very specific questions about your business to uncover what's really going on. So yes, Sean, let's dive in. But for those people who want to be efficient, see you next week.
See you next week. Take the bad.
Take
the bad. So let's start. Let's do it in the order of the acronym. So
speed round. Let's do it.
So home. Humans optimized in a meaningful environment. This is your HR. This is your people management. Okay, from a traditional standpoint. So how you would apply the principle here would be that 20% of employees are going to drive 80% of the company's success. So know who they are, how they're doing what they're doing, how you supported them because we want to replicate their success to everyone else. So I'm not saying old school business would have said, so let's keep the 20%, fire the 80% of the freeloaders. That is one way you could do that. You could do that. I suggest you don't do that before you really analyze it. But think about that. 20% of the people on the floor out there right now are getting 80% of the work done. See if it's true. And try to understand why that is. Okay. For analysis, 20% of data is going to inform 80% of your decisions. So what's that stuff that we keep looking at it because we think we have to keep looking at it? Well, they give it to us in a report. It's got a nice cover on it and everything. They hand it to me. I should analyze all of this, right? What are the things? What are the 20% of the things that we've seen that are going to get us 80% there? And when we get closer, we can dial in on the and fine tune the things. But this helps us to really strategically focus on what measures are really going to move us in this quarter, in this year, along our 5-year journey. Rad. And I'm just kind of cutting through this. You could probably see a lot of other ways where if you apply the 80-20 principle to any of these disciplines, you'll see other patterns emerge. Rad, risk and defense. This is your risk mitigation. Some people are terrified of all the risks that are out there. Not only small businesses, even large businesses. I've been a part of disaster recovery team planning exercises where you do those tabletop exercises, different representatives from around the business, and we say, okay, here's the scenario. Zombies are now real. We've lost communication with Europe. How do we, MetLife, Nike, Uber, continue on? That sounds pretty grim. I don't know that we're going to need to, but okay, let's assume that for the purposes here. What do we do? And I've done that for bird flu pandemics, all kinds of situations and scenarios.
Interesting.
And it is actually really fun and is interesting. And I have a lot of funny stories around it, but not for today. We'll do that someday. Maybe we'll do that the next time we do a rad. We'll go heavy into the
everybody's favorite discipline. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, that'll make it fun.
At least we'll make it fun.
We'll do how you do the crazy war game kind of situations for disaster planning. But that is a deep rabbit hole where you could say, really, what are the 20% of the things that are most likely to go wrong that are going to cause us 80% of the headaches? And let's fix that rather than worry about alien invasions. When that happens, some things are so big that when they happen, nobody's really going to care if we're still pumping out sneakers. So let's focus on what are the 20% of the most likely things that are going to cause us 80% of the headaches. That is another way to look at that. I'm not saying that's where you end your analysis. I'm saying that helps you dial in your time, energy, and resources. For modification, 20% of the change initiatives are going to get you 80% of the effect that you're looking for. So let's not try to change all things everywhere, every time. Let's look for the project with the most leverage to it and do those first, and then take that momentum into everything else you're changing. For order, this is our process management, how we take nothing and create something, how we take materials and make left-hand widgets, how we take years of experience and create advice or service. 20% of the processes are going to deliver 80% of the value. And let's be careful when we're touching them. Let's maybe automate those first, provided we know the downstream effect on our value chain.
I've also seen this over and over again. 20% of your revenue streams produce 80% of your revenue. Don't overlook that one, not you, but the listener. Don't overlook that either, because when people think, oh, I want to make more money, let me add on more revenue streams, you're actually just diluting your effectiveness.
So Brandon, look at you. You're already skipping ahead to the N, which is navigation, and paired with ubiquity, because in navigation, a million products is not always the answer. It's frequently not. 20% of your products are what are creating 80% of your revenue. So let's dial it down. Brandon and I are both from New Jersey. I love the Jersey Diner.
Too loud. I don't like to admit that.
Whatever. Do you hear us? It's clear. So the diner, the Jersey diner is such a thing of beauty
It is.
because at any time of day you can go and get a burger and fries or a turkey dinner with all the fixins or
Why? But why would you? No, you get
sushi,
a
God
like
help.
bacon and cheese omelet with hash browns. That's all you ever should get at a diner, any time of day.
Not true. Slap those words out of your mouth.
All right.
You get the king of all sandwiches there, the Monte Cristo. Let's not
Good second choice. Good second choice.
spin and spiral. The point is, you've seen these menus. Come on. There's some guys on here that are they here? Are we keeping the lobster bisque for the nostalgic reasons? Like what? Who's ordered that? Once in the last 5 years, somebody ordered that. And we still have it on the menu. Could we pare this down just a little? It's 8 pages. Just let's get it to 5 and see the efficiencies and the revenue that suddenly is there. Okay. Just saying. 80-20.
I support
It's
it.
everywhere you look. And your market position. We're in all these different markets. 20% of them are what's driving everything that's happening here, all the stuff that's coming in, all the revenue. So let's focus there. And then that impacts our marketing. 20% of our marketing, 20% of the platforms we're marketing on are creating 80% of the revenue or the 80% of the leads. So let's focus there. Not put all our eggs in one basket. Did not say that. Did I say that? I don't think I said that. I said it only because I said don't do it. So don't do that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I am saying let's be smart about what baskets we're putting eggs in. And then serenity. 20% of the activities that you're doing as a business leader are creating 80% of the impact for either your employees or your customers or the business at large. So let's try to make sure that the things are making it onto our calendar are the things that are of the most leverage to pushing the ball down the road. That way you can have far greater impact with far less allocation of your time, thus helping to give you more serenity, time, freedom in your business. So just to put a little wrapper on this, the Pareto Principle, the 80-20 principle, helps you get maximum impact because of your time, resources, and money, because you know that you're allocating things in the smallest number of buckets, allocating it to the smallest number of efforts for the maximum amount of payoff or return. It's going to help you keep your customer focus on the ones that are really driving the dial for you, the relationships that you might have, the joint venture partnerships that you might have, the referral partners that you have. 20% of them are giving you 80%. Don't they need a little more love? Probably. And then it helps you to scale with focus because we're looking at the things that have maximum lift and leverage at every turn. And then the risk and reward. We're focused only on the stuff that's really probably going to hurt us and making sure that we're really all over it. So we're protecting ourselves in the places where most likely we need that protection. That is how you become efficient, scalable, focused, all by following just one principle that is true everywhere you find it. So look for it and see if it's not true.
I know where it's not true. One place. It's not in business, but 20% of the caffeine I consume does not give me 80% of the energy I need. I need 100% of the caffeine consumption.
Well, no. So it would be 80% of the caffeine that you're consuming is giving you only 20% of the energy that you need.
Yeah, it's an inverse relationship.
Drink a lot more coffee is all I'm taking from that. This is not a health and wellness show.
No.
I'm not really sure what it is, but it isn't that.
It's the ether. That's what it is. We're talking about the things that are out there that will help you grow your business if you just pluck them out one by one, focus on it, grow your business, and then go find the next one. That's it. That's what we're doing.
Sounds good.
And we did pretty good. We stayed under time in keeping with the theme of the episode. So let's wrap it. Let's end this bad boy.
Let's wrap it. Go out there, do the work, take the bad, so you know that the work you're doing is the work that needs to be done.
Do that.
You will have clarity. You will, with the architecture, you will have confidence, and you will come here and see us around, and that's your community.
3 C's.
Let's see you soon.
See you.